From armored cars roaring into history during World War I to rugged 4x4s crawling through the 1960s, Austin's vehicles were built to withstand anything war could throw at them. What stories do these military machines tell? Let's find out. Step back to the First World War and you'll meet the Austin Armored Car, a rugged trailblazer in Austin's military vehicle legacy. Born out of necessity during wartime innovation, this vehicle was masterminded for the Russian Empire, who urgently needed an armored car with superior firepower and better protection. The twin Maxim machine guns in their rotating turrets gave the car an impressive 360-degree field of fire. Despite its relatively thin 3.5 to 7mm armor, the design proved effective in Russian battles, including the Russian Civil War, where it became a battlefield staple. Its 35-mile-per-hour top speed and 125-mile range may not sound like much today, but for a heavily armed vehicle in 1914, it was revolutionary. This wasn't a one-and-done model either. Austin kept iterating. The first round of 48 cars was quickly followed by improved variants with stronger chassis and thicker protection. What's fascinating is the sheer adaptability of the design. When it eventually retired from wartime use, the armored body was repurposed onto another chassis, keeping the Austin's armored car legacy alive well into the 1930s. What started as a British-designed vehicle for Russian use transformed into a military workhorse for countless nations, from Finland to Japan. A true testament to Austin's knack for innovation. An enduring symbol of service and compassion, the Austin K2/Y ambulance is next in our lineup. And what a vehicle it was. Used extensively during the Second World War, this model wasn't glamorous, but it was essential. Named Katie by the troops, the K2/Y brought hope and crucial care to the battlefield. Its design prioritized practicality. With room for up to 4 stretchers or 8 seated patients, it transported the wounded quickly and efficiently. But what made it truly iconic wasn't just its functionality, it was its reliability in the toughest conditions. Powered by a 6-cylinder petrol engine, the K2/Y could reach speeds of up to 50 miles per hour, which, combined with its robust suspension, allowed it to traverse rough terrain with ease. This ambulance didn't stay confined to battlefield duties either. With over 13,000 units built, the K2/Y found itself in every theater of the war. From the deserts of North Africa to the wintry battlefields of Europe, it even starred in the classic wartime film Ice Cold in Alex, immortalizing its role as a wartime hero. Beyond the numbers and fame, the K2/Y was part of countless untold stories of survival, carrying countless soldiers to safety. Functional, dependable, and unforgettable. It's no wonder this ambulance became a wartime legend. Small but mighty, the Austin Tilly brought versatility to the table during World War II. The name Tilly comes from utility, and this light vehicle lived up to its name. Built on the Austin 8 saloon car chassis, it offered logistical support in areas where larger vehicles simply couldn't go. Unlike the armored giants and lumbering lorries, the Tilly was light and agile, perfectly suited for quick supply runs and personnel transport. Its 4-cylinder engine wasn't built for high speeds, but its simplicity and reliability made it a favorite among Allied forces. This was a workhorse designed for efficiency, not flair. The Tilly was particularly loved for its off-road capabilities. While it wouldn't rival a military Jeep, it could handle rugged terrain better than you might expect for a vehicle of its size. Whether it was delivering supplies to remote outposts or ferrying communications across the battlefield, the Tilly got the job done without fuss. It might not have had flashy weapons or a large frame, but the Tilly's silent, consistent performance made it indispensable. If there's a single vehicle that exemplifies the phrase unsung hero, it's the Tilly. Now, onto the heavy lifters of the Second World War, starting with the Austin K3. A 3-ton military lorry that hauled more than just equipment. It carried the weight of the war effort itself. Built to support British troops across numerous battlefronts, the K3 became the backbone of military logistics. With its sturdy frame and reliable engine, the K3 excelled at transporting everything from ammunition to artillery. Its heavy-duty 3-ton capacity meant fewer trips were needed to get essential supplies to the front, making it a logistical powerhouse. Unlike many vehicles of its time, the K3 wasn't just rugged, it was dependable, with breakdowns being impressively rare for such a heavily worked machine. What truly set it apart, though, was its versatility. The K3 could be adapted to several roles beyond cargo transport. Some configurations turned it into mobile workshops or even command vehicles, showing its ability to adapt to the specific needs of the military. Whether navigating the dusty roads of North Africa or the wet, muddy battlefields of Europe, the K3 proved time and time again that it was more than up to the challenge. It wasn't flashy, but it was vital. Practicality defines the Austin K4, one of the most multifunctional vehicles in Austin's wartime arsenal. From carrying fuel to firefighting, the K4 could wear many hats, making it a linchpin of the Second World War's logistical network. The tanker variation of the K4 made its mark on airfields, where it refueled fighter planes and bombers, keeping the Royal Air Force operational during critical missions. Built with a short wheelbase and sturdy frame, it could maneuver around tight spaces on airfields with ease, bringing fuel to where it was needed most. But the K4 wasn't just a refueler, it was a lifesaver. The firefighting configuration supported rescue operations during air raids, while dropside versions ensured troops and cargo could be transported efficiently across theaters of war. One of its lesser-known contributions was its role as a morale booster. Troops would often see the dependable K4 roll in with the supplies or support they needed, and its arrival meant one thing: they could keep going. With its understated design and unwavering reliability, the K4 exemplified the excellence and adaptability Austin vehicles brought to wartime innovations. The Austin K5 earned its place as one of the unsung heroes of World War II. Built with rugged terrains in mind, this lorry was a lifeline for Allied forces operating in harsh environments. Unlike its predecessors, the K5 incorporated design features that allowed it to excel off-road, making it invaluable in theaters like North Africa, where smooth roads were more fantasy than reality. Its spacious cargo area meant the K5 could shift everything from vital supplies to troops heading for the front lines. It even saw use as an improvised ambulance when the situation required it, proof of its versatility. Powered by a 6-cylinder engine, the K5 wasn't the fastest vehicle on the road, but it was sturdy, reliable, and had the torque needed to handle uneven terrain with ease. What set the K5 apart was its adaptability. Troops supported by these vehicles often remarked on how the lorry's durability helped them maintain supply lines under enemy fire and in brutal conditions, and the design allowed for modifications, including the addition of winches or specialized racks, serving as solutions to unforeseen logistical challenges. Reliability, adaptability, and sheer grit. Those were the hallmarks of the Austin K5, making it one of the most valuable workhorses of its era. The Austin K6 was a 6-wheeled powerhouse built for heavy-duty military tasks. Its primary role involved towing, whether that meant pulling heavy artillery, mobile radar units, or anti-aircraft guns. The K6 was up to the challenge. Its robust construction and impressive torque meant it could handle missions even in the most demanding conditions. The K6 had a unique ability to accommodate terrain that would test lesser vehicles. It moved effortlessly through soggy fields, narrow forest trails, and dusty desert pathways, adding to its reputation as a dependable towing vehicle. Fitted with an extended wheelbase and reinforced axles, it combined strength with stability, a feature crucial for safely transporting heavyweight hardware. This vehicle wasn't just about utility, it had a certain presence on the battlefield. At 10 feet tall, with its striking 6-wheel design, the K6 demanded attention. It wasn't uncommon to find it at the center of critical military operations, a silent hero tethering destructive power to victory. Though its role was often behind the scenes, the K6 played a pivotal role in the successful deployment of artillery, making it an indispensable asset during World War II. The Austin Champ was a post-war revelation, designed as a versatile multi-purpose military vehicle to outperform its competitors. While its name suggests sophistication, the Champ was all about ruggedness and utility. Built for reconnaissance, troop movement, and commanding officers, it was as versatile as a Swiss Army knife. What made the Champ stand out was its advanced engineering for the time. Featuring independent suspension and a Rolls-Royce designed engine, it was capable of reaching surprising speeds while maintaining excellent maneuverability on challenging terrain. The clever 4-wheel drive system allowed it to handle mud, sand, and snow with little difficulty, ideal for military operations in diverse and often unpredictable landscapes. Inside, the Champ prioritized functionality but didn't skimp on comfort. That said, military practicality reigned supreme, with its waterproofing and reduced maintenance needs making it a favorite among soldiers. However, its complexity also attracted criticism. With innovation came higher costs, especially when compared to the rising popularity of the similar and cheaper Land Rover. Despite its limited production run, the Champ left its mark. It represented innovation and forward-thinking design in the post-war era, paving the way for future military utility vehicles. A true champion in more ways than one. The Austin K9 was not your typical military lorry. It was a specialist. Designed as a signal van, it was built for one crucial purpose: establishing and maintaining communications in the field. When war started leaning heavier on coordination and strategy, the K9 became a linchpin in operations by serving as a mobile communications hub. Its boxy, distinctive design wasn't for show. It allowed for ample interior space to house radios, signaling equipment, and operators. More than that, the K9 needed to reach places where lines of communication were most critical but least accessible. With its high ground clearance, the K9 excelled at navigating rough, uneven terrain, ensuring it could set up shop just about anywhere troops needed it. Unlike the heavier duty vehicles of the Second World War, the K9 gave off a more modern vibe, representing a shift towards a military focus on technology and infrastructure. Army engineers often customized them further, making each K9 mission specific. While it may not have drawn the spotlight like tanks or armored cars, the K9 was an unsung hero, quietly laying the groundwork for successful modern combat strategies. After the glory days of the Austin Champ, the company had to answer the roaring success of the Land Rover with something equally compelling. Enter the Austin Gipsy, a rugged 4x4 utility vehicle built to take on anything thrown at it. The Gipsy was all about adaptability. With several body configurations, it catered to both military and civilian demands. Its independent suspension system, oil-sealed engine, and durable construction meant that it was at home on a hillside farm as it was on military trails. Soldiers appreciated the fact that the Gipsy could handle snow, mud, and steep inclines with ease, while its slightly larger interior made it more comfortable for longer missions. Though the Gipsy didn't dethrone the Land Rover in popularity, it wasn't for the lack of potential. Many units served faithfully in military and governmental roles throughout Britain's post-war recovery. The model symbolized the changing needs of military vehicles, agile and cost-effective over sheer power. For those who served with the Gipsy, it was dependable, capable, and felt like a sturdy bridge between wartime vehicles and modern off-road ingenuity. A final flourish in Austin's long-running contribution to military engineering. If you enjoyed this trip through Austin's military legacy, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and drop a comment below about which vehicle you'd want to take for a spin. See you in the next Rewind.